Hi, my name is Lisa Rogers, and I'm happy to be a part of Just Love in Person's 2021 Artist Showcase. Check out some of my work. Growing up in Person County was good. I grew up with my parents on 49 North. It's like going towards Virgilina. It's called the Forest Hills Community. And it was a time when, in the 70s, it was a time when there was love and, everyone got together in the community, especially at times when death and things like that occurred. It was a time when people would come to show their condolences to other neighbors. They would come and bring money or food. And it was a good time. It was a time where we could play outside together. And my mom's family had a large family. So I also grew up in Hicks Heights. I had a lot of cousins. And we were there almost daily. And so I remember those times as well. My mother had us in church every Sunday. Then it was, you would have first and third Sunday and second and fourth Sunday. So maybe on first and third Sunday, we would go to my dad's church, which was Prospect Hill. And then maybe on second and fourth Sunday, we would go to Mill Hill Baptist Church. So I was thankful for that, my mother having us in the church on Sundays, and giving us a chance to know the Lord. So I'm very thankful for that. And growing up on 49, of course, I went to North End Elementary School, and then I moved on to Northern and then Person. I knew early that education or going to college wasn't for me. And that's just because, and I know this may sound strange to some, but it was rather boring for me. And so I didn't want to waste my parents' money, on going to college and, knowing that that wasn't something I was interested in. So once leaving Person, I went into the working field, and I started off in customer service at an early age. And I just knew that customer service was a passion for me in helping people. I am a proud wife and mom of 4 children. I've been married for 21 years, be 22 years, May. And I always tell people, I used to tell people when I was raising the kids, we have 4 kids, 2 cats, and a dog. But that wasn't true. We just had 4 kids, and my children are grown, and now they have their own families, and they're in education and the working field. And I'm very proud of all of them. And I kind of miss them being smaller and younger at times, but other times I'm very proud of them, and I'm glad and happy for them. I went on working for Duke in 2004. As I said, customer service and helping people is a passion. So I started off on labor and delivery, but I have transitioned on to many places in Duke. I've been in the lab. I went to school for phlebotomy, things like that. So, and how I got into photography, I've always had a passion for photography. Ever since I was a young kid, we've always had cameras, Polaroids and things like that. So I've always, played around with the camera. And so I was one of those people, whenever I would come around, the family members would be like, oh, here she comes with that camera. So, but I always loved it. And, but I got a serious interest in it. I'd probably say it was 15 years ago. I've been doing it professionally, but I got an interest in it probably in 2001. I started ordering backdrops and, just looking different things up and looking up different cameras and things like that. And so I just kind of started playing around with it. So when I first started considering doing photography professionally, I, of course, had to come up with a name. My first name was Photos That Rocks, which I ended up shortening it to PTR. A lot of people knew PTR photography, but they didn't know what it meant. And it did have a special place in my heart, because a lot of people don't know that Rock is my nickname. So that was one of the reasons why I named it Photos That Rock. Now, a reason that I changed it to Lisa Rogers Photography, because a lot of people didn't know that I was behind the Photos That Rock. And a lot of people would say, what does that mean? They would have questions. And so I just thought it would be better for me to just change that to my name, so people would know the face behind the name. Once I started doing photography, I think a lot of people in Roxborough know word of mouth is the best way here. But I did start venturing out into social media more and, just trying to kind of see what I had a feel for the most. So I started out doing family reunions, and that way, a lot of people would say, okay, they would be interested, and, then they would pass my name along or say, how can I get in contact with you and things like that. So I think me starting to do family reunions and things like that, I think that really helped me build my clientele. And then I ventured out into other things like babies and events, birthday parties, and things of that nature. My favorite type of photo shoot, I think, is portrait photography. And that's just because it's more one-on-one. Most of the time, 90% of the time, I get to pick the location. And I try to get a feel for my clients before or prior to the appointment. So I may reach out to them, ask them, what are you wearing? What are your ideas if you have any? What colors? Just kind of what you're looking for. But once I meet the client and we get to our location, that's what I really love, because I love the connection and I love the one-on-one time. I guess you could say I knew that I was special at my craft just by seeing a lot of people smile and a lot of people happy. That's what of course, people told me. I didn't see it at first. And sometimes I still critique myself. Some say too much. But I think I realized it once my business really started picking up and I started getting a lot more clientele and inquiries about portraits and pictures. I have to have an eye for people's personality, because everybody's different. And like I said, that's one reason why I ask the client sometimes what they're wearing or what they're looking for, and if a person is really shy, you have to bring it out of them. You have to sometimes bring that personality out. But I just really look for their personality and try to kind of get a feel for what they're wanting or what I think that they might like. I look for particular backgrounds according to their attire or what they have on, and I just go from there. Also, me and my daughter, Janaya, started Just Face It Beauty Box last year during the pandemic. And Just Face It Beauty Box specializes in your face. That's why it's called Just Face It. She came up with the name, and she wanted to come up with something that specialized in just the beauty of the face. Just Face It Beauty Box specializes in facials and microblading and micro shading of the eyebrows, which is a semi-permanent tattoo. Also brow lamination and brow tinting and lash lamination. And I think that coincides with photography for me, because I like to bring more beauty out of the person, because everybody's beautiful, but I just like to enhance that beauty and bring that out of people. With that, I also started Radiant Gem Beauty, which specializes in teeth whitening. What kept me going during the pandemic was photography, because it gave me time to work on bettering my craft, researching, because photography is growing and changing every day. You're always learning in photography, and that's one thing that I like about it. So that's something that kept me going in the pandemic, because I knew that one day, things were going to not really get back to normal per se, but that people were going to want an outlet and want to get back to that family time and, gathering together and, taking family pictures, portraits, and things like that. So the pandemic just gave me more time to educate myself on photography and some of my other businesses as well.
So the future for Lisa Rogers Photography is to get into other forms of photography, like real estate photography and some commercial photography. And also, I'm really passionate about teaching photography classes to everyone, but specifically to the youth, because if I had known, I could have went to college, or went to school for communications. And a lot of kids may not know that or have that information available to them. So I would like to teach classes, whether it be online, in person, or both, just to give them the opportunity to learn what they may not know, and how to start photography, whether it be using camera functions or posing clients or just that professional customer service space. So that's the feature for Lisa Rogers Photography.